Hello, welcome to my podcast. This is episode 41 and my name's Sam, otherwise Betsy. My username is Betsymakes on Instagram and Ravelry and Etsy, where I have a Etsy shop. I'm Sarah Mistress 2 on Twitter, but I'm definitely most active on Instagram. Thanks ever so much for joining me. I haven't recorded for ages, since the end of last year, so I do apologise. This is a place where I share my knitting and my crochet and my sewing projects with you, and I must admit I was in two minds about whether to come back and podcast at all. I'm trying to decide if there was a definite reason for that. Certainly it's quite a time-consuming thing, and with all the work and stuff I get up to, I don't have a lot of time to spare. However, the connection, connecting with you guys, talking about projects and all the love I get back from you is a definite plus for continuing recording. So I have decided to carry on for a bit longer anyway and see how I get on. So whilst there is a big part of me that would like to say that I'm going to be back regularly every 2 weeks or every month, I know that's a promise that I can't keep, so I'm not going to make it. I'm going to say I'll be back as and when I can. So I hope that's all right with you. If you are a new viewer, very welcome to you. If you are a returning viewer, thank you very much. If you've subscribed to my channel, cheers. And if you've commented and things like that, that's great too. I do read all my comments, but I'm really rubbish at replying to them, to be quite honest with you. Shame on me. I do apologise. So I'm going to share with you, I'm going to start off with some works in progress, some finished objects, and I will do some shop talk right at the end, but I will let you know when I come to that bit in case you're not quite into that sort of things. Continuity since last time, because it was such a long time ago, I'm struggling to remember what I talked about. I had a quick look at my show notes that I put up, and I do intend to put some basic show notes about this podcast up my blog, which is betsymakes.blogspot.co.uk, if you do want any more information about the projects I talk about. When it comes to my knitting and crochet, it's always a good idea to check out my Ravelry page. Again, I'm Betsymakes on there, because I do try and put as much detail as possible in the project pages for each individual item. And you know what, I look at other people's projects as well. If I've remembered they've made something and I just want to check out the details, can't remember the pattern name, but can remember this certain person has made it, or perhaps they've used a yarn that I just want to have a quick look at, I do go and look at other people's Ravelry pages, because it's useful. And I usually get the answers I need without having to bother the person. So I do recommend you take a look there. But if you can't find the answer you need and you really want to know something, of course you can email me at betsymakes@gmail.com, and I will try very hard to get back up to date with my emails. Excuse the sound of my voice. I know I sound a little bit croaky, quite congested. I had a really bad flu a couple of weeks ago, and well, actually I'm still getting over it. It really knocked me for six. I was laid up in bed for 3 or 4 days, and it's just really taken its toll. So I'll try not to cough too much. I've got some water with me, and I will edit out any dreadful coughing. So let's get started on the projects, and we'll start with works in progress. The first thing I want to show you is a pair of socks I'm making, because whilst I wouldn't say I'm addicted to knitting socks, but I really like to have a pair on the go, particularly when they're easy ones like these ones. I'll show you the first one I've made. It's not an actual pattern as such. You can download the instructions for the actual stitch pattern which is called Slip Stitch Lines. Let me show you. That's by La Maison de Sabbat. So this is free, so I'm quite happy to hold it up and show you, but you can find that on Ravelry and you can download the instructions. But it's not a complete sock pattern. You do need to know how to knit a basic pair of socks, really. You can see on the back I've made notes about what I've done, which I will transfer to my Ravelry page. So 15 rows, 1 times 1 twisted rib, then row 16 I knit all stitches, and then I started the pattern, which is a 4-row repeat, a total of 60 rows, sorry, 68 rows including the ribbon rows I've put. Then I've used the Fish Lips Kiss heel in a contrast yarn for the heel, and that is a pattern, again it's not a complete sock pattern, but you can buy it from Ravelry. I think it's priced at $1, so whatever your exchange rate is if you're in the UK. I think it was like 89p when I bought it ages ago, but anyway, I don't know what it is now. So foot total of 60 rows I've put, and then toe I've used the toe from the Rita socks, which is one of my finished objects, which I'll come on to. But it's, let me show you actually. It's just a round toe really. Goes well with this Fish Lips Kiss heel, I think. So the yarn I've used is, it's my perfect sock base. It's something I've dyed up myself, called Wax. The colourway, which is inspired by the album cover of Katie Tunstall's latest album called Wax. I'm going to see her in concert next month in March in Cambridge, so that's exciting. And the contrast was just some plain grey yarn I have in my stash, and that I've had this for yonks. It is 5 Moons Luna Plus 4-ply vintage. And I bought that at Yarn Festival, and actually I bought it with that because I was going to do a similar type of thing with these two. I'll still have enough, so you know, once I've done the toe I'll put that back with this one ready for when I want to knit those. But in the meantime I thought it does go well with this yarn. I'm a bit annoyed about this pooling bit of black here. It's like a big black smudge, but the rest of it looks nice, and I do like how the colours sort of randomly stripe in the stocking stitch section of the sole of the foot. So one sock's finished, the second one is very nearly finished. I've done the heel. I've got the same splodge of black on that one. I'll tell you what I did actually. I was concerned, this is 64 stitches on a 2.5 size needle. I'm using the Magic Loop method. So I've got my ChiaoGoo red lace favourite ones because the cord is nice and pliable. But I usually knit socks on 2.25. I was concerned that the pattern, the stitch pattern, might make it tight. And I think I made the right choice because they seem to be a good size. They certainly fit the sock block as well. Excuse me. So I think I did the right thing. But when it came to knitting the foot, with this type of heel, there's no decreases. Once you've done the heel, you're back to knitting round and round. But I did decrease 2 stitches just on the sole, not on this front bit, kept that 32, but I took 2 stitches out, so I've got 30 stitches on my back needle here, because the fabric I think would have come out a little bit bigger. I think by doing this stitch pattern here, it slightly shrinks the fabric more. So to compensate that, I took just 2 stitches out of the back and just have 30 stitches over here. And then of course when I come to do my toe, the first round of decreases for the toe, I'll just work on the front of the sock, because the back of the sock has already kind of got rid of those already, and then I'll continue from there as normal. So yeah, these are really nearly finished. I just need to count how many I've done because I'm not sure, so I know how many I still need to do and then do the toe. I feel I'm a much more croakier than I thought I was going to be, so I do apologise. Sorry about that, guys. It's a good opportunity for me to do this. It's a Sunday, and my little girl has gone out with her friend and her friend's mum. There's a little fun fair on up at her school, which is just up the road from here. It's Gumballs, and they're based in Bedford, and they often set up in the school holidays at various different locations around Bedford. And like I say, they're up at the school in the playground. It's been half term this past week. You pay $7.99 for the child to go in, and they can go on all the rides as many times as they like. There's no other charge apart from food and drinks, and so they can kind of play for ages, and it's a beautiful day, so it's ideal. And it's really nice that little Lena's got someone to play with. So I thought, well, if she's out doing that, I'll take the opportunity to record a podcast. Although looking at the weather, I kind of wish I'd gone up for a nice walk, but maybe I'll do that as well. We'll see how much time I've got. So anyway, that's my first work in progress. I have got another one to show you. So the second thing I'm going to show you today, the second project I've got on the go, is a jumper, and it's called Karma, and it's designed by Marie Wallin. This is the pattern. It's Rowan design, and I definitely was attracted. I obviously like the style of it, otherwise I wouldn't be making it. But the name Karma really appealed to me, and I thought, yeah, I really want to knit this. And it took me ages to get hold of the pattern, which I don't know why I feel that's quite significant. Bear in mind it's called Karma, I don't really know, but it's published in a Rowan book, pattern book, which, using a voucher from one of the major online wool stores, I ordered it, and they said, I got a message to say that it was out of stock, but it would be back in stock by the end of November. Would I want to wait? And I said, yes, I would like to wait, please. I'd ordered a bit of yarn with it as well, but for a different project. And the date that they told me came and went, and I still hadn't heard. So I contacted them again, and they said no, they hadn't got it. So I thought, well, I'll just cancel the order then. So I did that, and search for the pattern somewhere else, and I did find it actually on the Rowan site, which you can buy the individual patterns as opposed to the whole book. It works out more cost effective if you buy the whole book, if you make all of the patterns. But if you just want the one, then I think it's £4. So I feel a bit of a numpty really, because it wasn't clear that it was an instant download. I paid the money, that was fine. The transaction worked okay, but for some reason I got it into my head that they were going to post the paper pattern to me, and I waited and I waited, and it didn't arrive, and I kept thinking about it. I thought, well, Now bear in mind, I'm used to buying patterns, instant downloads, from both Love Knitting and from Ravelry. That, I've never had a problem with that, but in this instance I just assumed it was going to be physically posted to me. I went on the site and had a look. I couldn't work out what happened. I could see I'd placed the order, so I did ring the customer helpline, and the lady was really nice, but she said, you know, it is an instant download, it will be there. And once she told me where it was on the site, I found it and was able to print it off, no problem. And I felt quite silly really, and she was very helpful, but I said to her maybe it isn't as clear as it could be, because I've been sitting waiting for this pattern for ages. Or maybe it's just me. Anyway, Karma by Marie Walling, Rowing Design. So it's knit front and back. I've completed the back. I've got some stitches on the stitch holder here that will be used when I do the neck binding, the neck ribbing rather. And so a back ring design, so the sleeves incorporated in it, and I've got a really nice, let me show you the, is it okay? Yeah, the ribbon at the front has got nice centre design, which I really like, made with increases, make one right and make one left type thing. So that's the back. I've got all that done. It's quite a big piece of fabric really. Oh, the yarn, I should tell you about the yarn. It's Starcraft Special in the colour Vintage Peach. It's a double knit, and a few years ago I'd say that I knew every colour in the Starcraft Special range, even though there's quite a few, but lots more have been added and I don't know them all now. And this one, I can't remember where I saw this one actually. I was probably looking for something else and I came across it and I just really love the colour. And so it was new to me at the time. Like I say, it's Vintage Peach 1836 and this is 100% premium acrylic yarn. So it's not too expensive. In fact, it's very reasonable and it's nice. It's a nice quality acrylic yarn. So I'm now knitting the front, which at the moment is exactly the same as the back. It's the same until you get up to the shaping around the neck. And I've just got to the point where I've actually got the most amount of stitches on the needle, and I will knit back and forth, knit row, purl row, until I've made the sleeves. What's happened there? I've got a drop stitch, look. Dun dun dun! I'll be able to pick that up with a crochet hook. It's not too much of a disaster, but I was knitting this till about 11 o'clock last night, watching a old episode of Midsummer Murders, which I'm sure I've seen before. So probably was a bit tired and didn't realise I dropped a stitch there. But no worries, I can pick that up easy enough. That's not too much of a problem. So like I say, this front is at the moment the same as the back until I get up to the neck shaping, and then the decreases will be different there. And I am using a progress keeper. I've got the macaron on there because when it's a lot of basically plain knitting back and forth, I think it's a nice idea to have something to show how much you've done. I put this on when I finished on Friday night. It's now Sunday morning, so that's how much I've done since. So yeah, quite happy with my progress. I really love this colour. I really like it. I'm looking forward to wearing this. And the yarn is, I mean, yeah, it's acrylic. It's 100% acrylic, covered in thread like everything else is in my house. But it's nice and it'll wash well. I just really love this colour. So yeah, that's my progress on my Karma sweater by Marie Walling. And I'm looking forward to finishing it and wearing it. Obviously there's seaming to do. I'll have to seam down the shoulders and the sleeves, and I'll have to do the side seams as well. So I have been doing a bit of research about how I'm going to do that as neat as possible. I think there'll be a section under here which I'll probably just have to do a back stitch on, because the way the shaping goes, I don't know if I'll be able to mattress stitch it all the way up, but you know, maybe I will. I'll have a look. The I've read on the pattern, and the instructions say join one shoulder seam and then knit the neck ribbon, but I don't see why you can't do both and do it in the round. So I don't see why I can't do that. So I think I will do that for that and the cuffs as well. So yay, that's I'm looking forward to finish it as well, because I'm desperate to start other knitted garments, and a crochet shawl I've got in mind as well. But that's all for my finished objects. No, sorry, start again. That's all for my works in progress. Now we'll go on to finished objects. So the first finished object that I'm going to mention, I'm going to mention briefly now and go into a bit more detail on my next podcast, and it's my collecting dust blanket. It's hanging up here, you may have noticed it. It's a crochet granny square blanket, and I've obviously completed it. I've done the border, everything. Oh, can you see that okay? I'm not going to get it down now, like I say. I'm just going to comment on it in the sense that it is done and dusted. Oh. Collecting dust blanket. I have talked about this blanket quite a lot on my podcast, so you might be aware of why I've called it that, but very briefly, it's because I'd started it at some point in history, literally, and then it was languishing in a box under my bed and it was collecting dust, and then, you know, I left it to do other things. Happens a lot. But I have completed it now, so it is actually done. It's very heavy as well. It's beautiful. It's all merino yarn that I'd collected over the years. It cost a fortune if I was to buy it all again now. But the reason I want to talk about it in more detail next time is because I do intend to write the pattern up. I feel a little bit guilty about saying this at the moment, because I feel like I'm always making promises and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and it does take me a while to get round to things. I do get there eventually, but I'm going to kind of make it my priority for the next couple of weeks. I have got bits and pieces written up already in regards to the pattern. It's going to be free. I've written up about how to crochet the coloured squares on my blog already, and I've done a little bit of a photo tutorial as well. I've got a crochet chart 3/4 done on my computer, so on and so forth. So there is a little bit of work to do to get it all ready to present to you, my lovely friends. But like I say, I'll go into a bit more detail about the actual blanket when that's all done and I'm able to say, yeah, the pattern's available and you can buy it. It's not difficult in the sense that it is just a granny square blanket, but it's a beautiful granny square blanket and I do love it so much. So yeah, stay tuned for that and I'll be back. I promise I will get it done. Like I say, it's my priority for the next fortnight really. But a little thing that I've made in the meantime are these little hexagon flowers. I've called it Sharing the Crochet Love Flower. It's either Sharing the Crochet Love Flower or Share the Crochet Love Flower. And as it's mine, I should know that. I can't remember what I decided on in the end. So this is using the leftover merino yarn from the blanket here. Just little scraps, literally, making these tiny little hexagons that I've joined together into a flower shape and put a little border around. They are so cute, so pretty, and relatively simple to make. Now this pattern is out there for you. Again, it's a free one. You can find it on my Ravelry designs, and you can find it on lovecrochet.com as well. And it's a simple little pattern. It's very sweet. Do you know, I am tempted to make a cushion cover all in these little hexagons. I don't know if I will do it though. I sort of want to. I think it would be nice just to have a complete front of a cushion, just all a bit like English paper piecing, a bit like this very neglected project here. I haven't touched this for ages. This is a bit of English paper piecing. I started yonks ago. That I think will be a cushion cover as well. If I ever do any more of it, it's just sitting there looking pretty. But yeah, I thought that would be nice actually to have a crochet version. That'll look really sweet. But these are cute, these little, what would you use them for? Decoration, coasters, whatever you like really. But like I say, share the crochet love. If you look at my show notes, is it sharing the crochet love or share the crochet love? Whatever. So yeah. So they're really cute. So they're there for anyone who'd like to make them. And I've put a few photos in that pattern as well to show you how I do the join as you go there, because they're just kind of linked together really as you're making them. They're only 2 rounds each. They're very cute. I'll tell you what I've got on my lap here now is this book. I'm going a bit off tangent because this has nothing to do with finished objects, particularly as I haven't actually finished reading it. It's an old book. I've had it for ages. I don't know when it was published, quite a long time ago I think. But it's really funny. I was reading it when I wasn't very well. I mean, I was so poorly, I was definitely too sick to knit. So for a few days I didn't do anything apart from lie in my bed and either sleep or stare at the ceiling. But as I started to feel a bit better, I picked up this book and it's just really, really funny actually. I love the way it's written. I enjoyed sort of picking up here and there and just reading a bit of it. So if you're looking for a bit of knitting entertainment, I do recommend this book. I'll put that over there now. Okay. Right, my next finished project is socks, and these are the Rita socks that I mentioned earlier. The toe pattern is the ones I'm using for the wax socks. But these are from a pattern. The pattern is called the Rita socks, and it is designed by Danny, who's Little Bobbins. She's Little Bobbins on Instagram and on her podcast as well. And it's a series of patterns actually, about a love story based on her vintage engagement ring. But lovely Natalie gifted me this pattern. She used to be Dotty About Crochet, but she's changed her username now. I think she's Mrs. Q something. Anyway, Natalie, thank you very much for gifting me the pattern, if you're watching of course. And I'm very pleased how these have turned out. They are knit in, again, some yarn that I've dyed in the colour Winter, which I'm really pleased how this one's come out. The base is my little Smile base, which is actually a merino silk blend, which isn't the most obvious choice when it comes to socks, but they are lovely. They're very soft and luxurious, and also the way the yarn takes a dye is very different from a merino nylon blend. I'll talk a bit more about the yarn I've got in my shop at the end in shop talk, as I said. But yeah, they're so pretty, aren't they? So pretty. And this diamond stitch pattern is so lovely. Up there. I'm trying to see what you can see. Not sure. Hope you can see everything alright. But yeah, I think I'll wear them just here and there. So I don't know how robust they'll be. They don't have any nylon in. But silk's strong. It's got the strength. So they might be fine. But they feel like a special occasion sock. They're so soft and luxurious. And I do absolutely adore them actually. So yeah, so they're my reed socks in winter colourway on the little smart base. I just really love this twisted rib. I'm really into twisted rib at the moment. It's so pretty. So yeah, that's another finished thing that I've now shown you. So they can go in the sock drawer. And my final finished object is this blouse that I'm wearing actually. So there's a bit of a story behind this. I bought a blouse very similar to this. I can't remember where I bought it from, or in fact when, because I've had it a little while, and I really like it. I liked it and would wear it quite often. And foolishly, I wore it while I was doing a bit of cleaning, and I got some bleach on it, as you can see. Bleach on the sleeve there, and I was really upset actually. And I thought, well, I probably could get some fabric that's similar. It's a light chambray, a light denim fabric, light in colour and light in weight. And I could unpick the ruined version and use the pieces as the pattern to cut another one. So I did find this fabric, which is very similar but not the same. It's not quite as soft, although I am hoping that with washing and wearing it will soften up a bit. I can't remember where I got it from. I think it was Empress Mills. If I'm honest, I can't remember. Anyway, so that was the plan, to unpick the blouse and use the pieces to cut a new one. And the thought of unpicking the blouse seemed a bit of a task, and I kind of didn't get round to it. But then last night, or sort of late yesterday afternoon, they were showing the repeat version of the Great British Sewing Bee, which is the latest series. And I think it's shown on Tuesday nights, but they're obviously repeating it on a Saturday late afternoon. And of course, sitting there watching it, I thought it makes me think and gets me in the mood, and I thought, oh, do you know, I'm going to sit and unpick this while I'm watching this programme, and the following programme. So I did unpick the blouse. It didn't actually take as long as I was worried it would do. It's all just overlocked together, and I just unpicked the overlocking and pressed the pieces. This is the bit, this section here is what encases the elastic around the neck, and I really love the effect of the that it was gathered. I was tempted to actually use this piece to sew on my new one, but I thought might be a bit too different. But I love the way it's all faded, and it's just a really nice effect, isn't it? So I'm hoping this one, with a bit of washing and, like I say, and wearing, it will do the same thing. Get that sort of worn, distressed look that is achieved. So it's a peasant top. It's got these ties on the sleeve, which I really like. So it's fairly loose fitting. So like I say, I unpicked my my blouse that I'd ruined with the bleach, and I pre-washed this fabric and I dried it in the dryer as well. I just put it on a one of my rapid washes that the machine will do. You can have 14 minutes, 30 minutes, and there's another one I can't remember. But which was enough because it wasn't dirty or anything. It just needed to be washed and dried in the dryer in case there was any shrinkage involved. Depends, with cotton you can get, I don't know, 4 or 5% shrinkage sometimes. So it's always a good idea to do that. And I probably will end up tumble drying it fairly often. So I can't wait till I can start putting my washing out on the line again. Today actually is the first day that I would be tempted to have a go. I don't like using my dryer too much, but when you've got a big family and the weather's rubbish, I you don't really have much choice really. But I love drying my washing out on the line, so hopefully the weather will continue to get warmer. Well, it should do, because we're still in winter now. Spring starts, doesn't it? Towards the end of March, I think. Something to do with the March equinox. But yeah, I think that's towards the end of March. So yeah, roll on spring. Anyway, so back to this. So I was really really pleased. I unpicked the blouse, pressed the pieces flat. The fabric didn't take long to wash and dry, so I did cut it out last night. Not late last night, but last night. I just laid the pieces. It's just the front, the back, two sort of a front sleeve and a back sleeve, and then this straight section that goes around the neck. I used the same elastic that was in the original top, and so it didn't take long to cut out. I haven't made a paper pattern. I literally just laid these pieces on the fabric and cut round them. Literally that basic. And then early this morning, the first thing I did was thread the overlocker up in the right colour thread and overlocked it together. And then I even did the rolled hem on the sleeve. I don't know if you can see that. I'll tell you what I'll do actually. This is my scrap of fabric. So I overlocked it all together as usual, and then I wanted to find out how to do a roll hem on my overlocker, which I've never done before. So I had to look at the instruction manual, which I can't remember where I've put mine, so I just went online, and I might print it off or at least save it onto my computer actually, because I've got a Janome. You see it? I don't know if you can just see it just here, my Janome overlocker. So I just typed in the model number and manual, and it came up, so that's good. And you have to do adjustments to the actual machine, including you adjust quite a few things to the roll hem, and you have to play around with the tension. It took me a little while to get it right. I haven't got it perfectly right actually, because I don't know if you can see, there's a few loopy bits there. I played around with it quite a bit. That was the best I could get. I'm not sure if it's because I need a new needle, or maybe my needle's not quite sharp enough. But I thought I got it right, so I went to do it on my actual blouse, but there is a few loopy bits on there. But I can go around again if I can. I'll probably change the needles and try again, or maybe I won't. But I'm very pleased. I like the way I've got the little hem. Like I say, this is my scrap bit I was testing on, but it's this sort of little hem on the edge. So I was delighted with how it all worked out, because I was very disappointed when I ruined the blouse initially, and I really wanted the same again. So yeah, I'm pleased that I got very, very similar, not quite the same, but very similar fabric that, like I say, I hope will soften up, and I'll get that effect on this bit as well. I've sort of kind of pressed it quite hard while it was gathered to help it. It's already going a bit like that. And because I've got the pattern pieces, I'm really tempted to make another one. I'm looking up there because I know I've got a basket full of fabric, and I've got some fabric that I'd like to make another one in, so I think I will show you that. Yeah, I bought this fabric from Sew Over It in London when I visited for my birthday last summer, and I think if I've got enough, I don't actually know if I've got enough, I'd have to see, but hopefully I will have. I think that would look really nice in this style top. I think it would work well. It's quite a nice floaty fabric. I can't remember the fibre content now. It probably is sort of a polyester or something like that. maybe a rayon or something, but I just really like the print, so I think I will have a go at making this again in that, because I think it would look really nice. So so yeah, that's something to think about, and I'm quite glad I've got back into doing a bit of dressmaking, because it's been quite a long time since I've done any. So yeah. So thanks for joining me for my personal projects. I would like to do a little bit of shop talk now, if that's okay. So quite understand if you don't want to stay with me for that. So if you are heading off, I hope you have a lovely day, whatever you're doing, and I'll see you soon, I hope. But yeah, if you are staying with me, thank you, and I'll show you what I've got in my shop at the moment. So welcome to Shop Talk. This is just my opportunity to let you know what I've got in my Etsy shop for sale at the moment, and I think it's a good way of letting people know, if you are interested, what's on offer. So my Etsy shop is, you can find it by betsymakes.co.uk. That will take you to that as well, or you can search Betsymakes on Etsy and you'll find me there as well. It's the same shop, but there's two different views. There's the Etsy marketplace view and my pattern by Etsy, which is a bit more designed by myself, but it's the same shop. It's like just going in through two different doors, and it's where I sell the project bags I've made and the yarn I've hand dyed. So just very quickly really, yarn wise, I've got some wax in there, and this is what I'm currently knitting my socks on. Let me just get those again. So that's what it knits up like. So there's that. That's on the Perfect Sock base, which is just the merino nylon blend 75/25. The standard sock. I like it. It's soft. It's quite fine. It's not a thick. It's a fingering weight yarn, but even within that range you can get different thicknesses, and I don't like fingering weight to be too thick, because then for me it's sport weight. So I like this fine standard sock yarn really. So that's wax, and in the same base I've got delphinium, which I love this colour. I haven't made anything in that yet. I've seen other people's stuff and it always looks really nice. I've got Secret Life of Bees, which again is a favourite, and oh, another favourite well, of course I'm going to like them all, is Asian Sea. So again, like I say, that's all in the Perfect Sock yarn base, and there's some colours I've dyed up recently to put in the shop. Pop them down there. And then I also wanted to show you a new bag I've been working on. I wanted to make a canvas bag that is sturdy and practical. I want it to look nice, but I wanted it to be a go-to project bag that you'll use for years and years, that you can use to put your pins on if you like collecting enamel pins, which, as you know, I do. So I came up with this design. I've called it the Stalwart bag because basically that's the idea behind it. It's stalwart, it's practical. So I'm not pronouncing that very well because of my throat. Stalwart bag. It's drawstring, as you can see. I've got a lovely mustard coloured one here. It's got a little handle on the side, which you can use to carry around if you like. And then I wanted to put a print lining in. So as you can see, this has got this nice geometric dot and line print, and it's lovely and big. It's got, I don't know if you can see actually, it's got the 4 internal pockets in there that you can put your bits and pieces in. Keeps all your notions in order. It's sort of box bottom, and it will stand up on its own as well. So obviously it's got nothing in it there. Stands up on its own, so you can do the turn down thing and knit or crochet directly out of it like a bucket. You can see the pockets a bit better maybe. So I've got that in mustard, which I really love. I've got this blue coloured one, which my son said is cyan. So I've got this one, which is a lovely blue colour. It's a lovely colour. Really nice hexagon coloured cheerful lining in there, again with the pockets inside. With the same lining I've got the raspberry coloured one, again pulls up, and you've got the cheerful lining in, like I said. And then this one is a bit different, is a rose one, which is nice. As I said, I have threads on everything in my house. So that is nice. When this canvas is a bit finer than, say, the mustard one, but it's just such a lovely print. It's got the same lining in. And because it is a lighter weight canvas, you've got 3 layers. You've got the canvas layer, you've got the lining, and then there's an inner lining in there as well. It's not interlined in the sense of wadding, which I sometimes do in my bags, but it's just to make it a little bit thicker too. So it's got a bit more body to it. It's not. I don't want it to be too stiff actually, because whilst it's nice to have it so that you can have it standing like that, I also like the idea that it will scrunch down a bit, so if you've got a smaller project in there like socks or something, it will fit in your handbag without too much problem. But it's probably big enough for a sweater actually, or yeah, I mean maybe sweater quantity, it depends. If it's a big chunky knit, it probably wouldn't fit in there, but if it's a 4-ply sweater, maybe it would. So yeah, got those in the shop, they're there. Yeah, so that's just what I wanted to show you really. Just wanted to make you aware that I've got these in. I'd like to get some grey canvas because I think grey ones would be really nice. So that'll be something I'll do in the not too distant future. But in the meantime, there's plenty of these in the shop. I've really enjoyed making them actually, thinking about how I want it to be and the proportions and stuff like that. So yeah. So thanks ever so much for joining me for that last little bit of shop talk, and I will be back soon to talk a bit more about my collecting dust blanket once I'm sorted with the pattern and got that all written up. And obviously I will show you more of my projects as I go through them. So in the meantime, take care, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Bye.